right, including Green in the slot. Looking to throw. Van Buren on the slant. Gets it to Green. Green falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
Thomas left to right now. He'll orbit motion. Here's the snap. The throw goes to Thomas. He will step into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Tonight, from the 2025 Kinder's Texas Bowl at NRG Stadium in Houston, it's the LSU Tigers and the Houston Cougars. Now, here's Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso.
Welcome to Eagle 98.1 Gameday. I'm Charles Hanagriff along with Matt Musso and our entire staff at the flagship as we get you ready for the Kinder's Texas Bowl between the LSU Tigers and the Houston Cougars. The Tigers finished the regular season with a record of 7-5, 3-5 in the Southeastern Conference, which was good for 10th place. Considering that LSU began the season ranked 9th in the nation, 10th in the league would have to be considered a major disappointment. It was, so much so that head coach Brian Kelly was fired on October the 26th, a mere 54 days after LSU had ascended to number 3 in the country following their win at Clemson. The shock value of that timeline would have normally led the nation, but thanks to Penn State, it didn't even win the month. Houston finished the regular season at 9-3, 6-3 in Big 12 play, which tied for 4th in the league. Willie Fritz, in his second season at the school, engineered a 5-game improvement from year 1. Houston split their last 4 games of the year and also had a .500 record in their 2 games against ranked teams, losing at home to Texas Tech while winning at then number 24 Arizona State. For many of the players and coaches today, it marks the end of their time at the school. Between the NFL draft and the transfer portal, players will be moving on, and for some, today will be the last game they play, period. Obviously, with the coaching change at LSU, their staff will look very different next year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But we're also still living with the evolution of the bowl game itself. And this is where we venture off here a little bit. When they were created, the bowl games were a reward for great seasons. They determined national championships and influenced final rankings when those still mattered. Then more bowl games were added, and they were rewards for really good seasons. Then even more bowl games were added, and they were doled out to any team that just broke even, or sometimes even a little bit less than that. In the interest of filling programming time for ESPN and generating revenues for the conferences and schools, although the expenses swallowed up most of the profits for all but the biggest of the bowl games. Then finally came the college football playoff, which, while it didn't compete directly with any of the other bowls, it placed a pretty clear line of demarcation between success and failure, relevance and apathy. The players noticed. 2 seasons later, star running backs Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey opted out of the bowls entirely. That happened less than a decade ago, but it sent shockwaves through college football. Wouldn't they be risked looking at quitters in the eyes of professional football? 4 months after that, Fournette and McCaffrey went in the top 8 picks of the NFL draft, and the Bulls haven't been the same since. Players now routinely opt out of competing in these games in favor of preparing for the combine and for pro days, where they're competing against literally everyone, or no one, depending on your point of view. Coaches are now facing a compressed calendar or leaving earlier and earlier for their new assignments, or lame ducking it at their old one, as roughly half of LSU staff is today. Schools are promoting the game less and less. At LSU, there were no players or coaches made available before the team left for Houston, and very little in the way of promoting the game, although ticket sales have been fairly good. Media outlets are spending less and less time on these events as well. This station will not do a post-game tonight, given the logistics of beginning a show after 1 a.m. and the unrecoverable costs associated with it. If this were a playoff game, we'd gladly stay on until dawn. For the record, I don't have any problem watching any of these games, watered down as they are. I like watching football. And these games, while afterthoughts sometimes, or maybe like the understudies performing a Broadway play, can be viewed like manna from heaven if they were taking place in August, which it occurs to me might be where a lot of them end up. I think the college football calendar is going to undergo a major overhaul once the playoff format is reconfigured in January, and repositioning some of the bowl games might just inject some life into the product. In the meantime, Musso will try to tell you who's playing and who isn't, if it means something or if it doesn't. And yes, our muscle memory is set up to where if LSU's playing football, we're watching. So call it what you will, the understudies in the Broadway play, the JV, the second unit, whatever it is. It's LSU and Houston. The uniforms are out there anyway, and doing a little bit of prep for this game. It's actually maybe not quite as bad as it might seem that just everybody has opted out of this bowl game in Houston tonight.
Yeah, it feels like really, I mean, for the Cougars, they really don't have any. They've got two really great pass catchers that LSU's going to have to try to slow down without Monsoor Lane, without A.J. Halsey in their secondary. But when you look at the opt-outs from LSU's side, those are big-name players, but the numbers aren't very big. Even the guys who have entered the transfer portal, which is a number that literally grew more today with Tyree Adams, they're playing in the game. So, yeah, while the uniforms are the same, most of the players are too. And you said it. If LSU's playing football, we're watching, and more likely than not, we all want them to win because they're still playing a football game, and it's going to count to your record.
Yeah, so we watch as we're watching, a lot of these other games through the holiday season. It's football. In August, we would take any of these games and throw a party around them. As it happens, they're at the tail end of the season, and so we don't have that overwhelming thirst for football that we might normally have at another time of year. But there's still something to be gained, I think, for some of these players. And that's kind of what I want to talk about as a theme here today during the pregame. If you're preparing for the NFL draft and you're focused, well, then maybe it's best that you go. If you're in the transfer portal, okay, then if you haven't yet selected another destination, then as bluntly as I can put it, you're trying to make yourself some more money. The more good film you can put out there, the more attractive you are to somebody else. And even if none of those things were true, it's a football game, and if you dog it, you're liable to get hurt. Nobody wants to be embarrassed out there. The bowl games that I've watched, which is almost all of them, I have seen great effort, to be honest with you, not great execution. It's been a lot of sloppy football, and somebody asked me earlier today, said, did the offenses just take off today? And my answer to that was, offenses require continuity. They require the offensive lines that have time to gel. They require precision timing between passers and catchers, and when that is disrupted, it takes the offenses longer to get reacclimated than defenses, which is why early in the season defenses are usually ahead of offenses, and we're seeing a version of that.
And you don't do that in 15 bowl practices, right? I mean, that doesn't come together then. And I'll tell you what, too, Hanny, in a team like LSU's case, you have a new head coach. I mean, Lane Kiffin was out there watching some of the bowl practices. You saw the pictures of that. And, I mean, he's going to have eyes on this game tonight. If you haven't made up your decision, if you want to potentially come back, you're also auditioning for that, too. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. And here's the thing. They're going to want to send Frank Wilson out a winner tonight, too. The kids on that team, I do believe that. And I think you're going to see in a very hard-fought effort from LSU for all the reasons we laid out.
We're here at Rouse's. We hope that you have enjoyed the Christmas season, and, well, right around the corner is New Year's. So plan your New Year's celebration and let Rouse's help. All of your beer, your wine, all of your spirits can we get here at Rouse's in a huge selection of all three of those. Of course, we've talked about letting them take care of your tailgating during the season. Let them take care of your New Year's Eve party as well with all of the fixings here, be it from the bakery, from the chop house, the chef's collection, Louisiana seafood, the Mongolian grill, and all of the extras that you need. Let Rouse's cover your New Year's spread this holiday season. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Offense. Presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you. Now, from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
And return here at Rouse's, our LaBerge, Baton Rouge. Countdown to kickoff about 4 hours and 45 minutes tonight. Gordy, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a good holiday and a good trip over to Houston as we get ready to wrap up the regular season. Good to have you.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas. Beautiful weather now, right? Just the season for 80-degree football.
Well, and you know, if they had played on Tuesday, because the weather's supposed to get really cold here the first part of the week, it would have been entirely different. I know sideline reporters that really like indoor stadiums and moderate temperatures.
Oh.
So
I'm a big fan of Houston play. You know, not so much, you know, it's not a big bowl game, but it's in a beautiful stadium.
I'm trying to remember what year it was that Texas A&M and Mississippi State played in the Independence Bowl and it was covered in snow.
Was that 2000?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
99.
Okay. Yeah.
I just missed it.
So you don't have that to deal with, Gordy, and that's that's good. So let's try. Well, first of all, before I get into who's playing and who's not, LSU went over on Christmas Eve. Listen, the logistics of this, there's a lot of LSU alumni there. They've done pretty well with ticket sales. That's all wonderful. But for the team itself, this is not like a weeks-long deal of activities and things like we've seen some in the past. This has been a pretty quick deal. So kind of set the mood for me a little bit as they go into this game.
Well, it was dead here. It was just the travel party for 2 days, and now everybody came in yesterday for the most part, and then the rest of the people coming in today. Good thing about this bowl, there's some cool activities. It's not too much. It's not a long week. And, you know, other than the hiccup that having to do Christmas Eve and Christmas Day over here, it's generally a good experience for the players.
All right, let's get into, again, who's going to be there and who's not. So let's try to put together, there's a lot of players that are in the transfer portal that are playing. There are some that are going in the transfer portal that are not playing, and there's some opt-outs that are concentrating on the draft or injuries. Let's start on the offensive line because I think that's the biggest question mark. We've got Tyree Adams in the transfer portal, Cohen Eccles, DJ Chester, Josh Thompson we know is not playing in this game. Give me and Carius Kern also for the moment is still in the transfer portal. Give me an idea what LSU's starting offensive line might look like tonight.
Well, I think they're going to rotate some guys, but the good thing is all those guys that were hurt have come back healthy. Moore at center, I think, is big. And then we had both, both Adams is back in there. I saw Ori Williams at practice, and yes, Kern went into the portal earlier, but yet he was at practice on the 23rd. So I'm expecting them to have enough bodies. How they rotate them, who plays, it'll be interesting to see.
Between Kern, Williams, Eccles, Moore, Chester, Paul Mubinga is still there, and Weston Davis, and Tyree Adams, you've got somewhere in the vicinity of 60 or 70 starts between all of those players. So how they put it together and what they do, at least they've got enough bodies there. Let's talk about the wide receivers. We know Aaron Anderson is not there, but everybody else pretty much?
Yeah, Nick Anderson was even out there, some on the 23rd. Yeah. On the 23rd, I got a chance to see Nick Anderson. Saw a lot of Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker back at practice. Thomas is still there. Barry Brown's playing. So they have their full allotment of receivers, and both tight ends are playing.
In the backfield, we believe that we will see both Caden Durham and Harlem Berry, correct?
Yeah, I saw both of them out there. Expect to see them. And then again, Johnson, can you use him in some special plays? He's available at backup quarterback. I guess, 2A and B with he and Neil Piccarella are both capable. If they go Johnson, they'll have to run Wildcat. God forbid that anything happens to Michael Van Buren. But, look, I think offensively, the good news is you got 4 guys now in the portal. Everybody's elected to play.
Okay, with all of that in mind, what might we see from LSU? I don't know that Lane Kiffin has had any type of influence on this, or if he just said, listen, go with what you got. But we all heard the story, whether it be embellished or not, that when Kiffin walked into the office, it's like, who came up with that game plan for Oklahoma? Even if he didn't say that, it's a good story, right? Because Oklahoma largely saw LSU what they did for the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, which was go sideways. So what might we see differently?
Yeah, he's been totally out of it. I mean, other than, I think watching practice, he hasn't been around. I mean, he's watched practice, but it's typical that the staff stays out of the way. I've seen Wolford, the offensive line, that he's taken in a couple practices first person. Of course, he's not part of the Ole Miss staff. He came from Kentucky. So, I think the magic question is, what is this offensive staff under the circumstances? And Alex Atkins, had a chance to digest since the disappointing finish of the season at Oklahoma and really the way the offense played. And how do they come out and attack this Houston team that, look, they've been a solid Big 12 team this year. Nothing fantastic. Willie Spritz and his teams always play solid defense. But, this is about LSU and what are they going to do and what are they going to, do to hopefully be more effective on offense.
Let me try something crazy here. Last year, this was a huge game for Chris Hilton. I know he has largely had a forgotten season, but last year he had everybody really excited about what was going to happen the following year. Any chance we see him in this game say, hey, look, send him deep. We've been waiting on this all year. Maybe just to show them that it's in there to throw the ball down the field a little bit.
Well, look, I think a bigger scheme is this offensive staff gets it. They're not sticking around. Michael Van Buren is playing for a payday, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he hasn't finished, he hadn't performed, I think, up to our, his expectations. And certainly I think the LSU fans would have liked to see him perform better. So I think there's a lot to play for. And the overall theme is that Frank has done a really nice job of holding this team together. And I think they're going to come to play. So what adjustments are they going to make from the back half of the season? And I'm with you. How about let this thing rip?
Yeah.
Everybody's moving on after this game. How about we let this rip and have some fun and be explosive tonight?
I'm with you. Nobody's job's on the line. All that's been decided. If you're going in a transfer portal, you can only make yourself more money with a good performance tonight. If you play poorly or if you mail it in, that's going to affect your next paycheck as well. So, and we've seen certainly through this bowl season enough gadget plays. I'm not even talking about gadget plays. I'm just talking about throw the football down the field, maybe find Trey'Dez Green somewhere, Chris Hilton, anything that you haven't shown. There's no use in saving it because this offensive playbook is going in the hopper, the trash hopper as soon as this is over, and Kiffin's offense is coming in. So there's no use in saving anything. What have you seen from Houston defensively? They're statistically, at least, they're better against the run than they are against the pass.
They struggled against the pass. They were up big on Baylor, and I watched that game the other night. And Robinson, the quarterback that LSU faced last year in this very same game, wound up tearing them up. They gave up 40-some-odd points, I believe, against West Virginia at home in a disappointing home loss. They're not big size-wise. I mean, this is a mediocre Big 12 team that found a way to win football games and go 9-3 in a Big 12, in which they didn't play BYU. They just played Texas Tech and lost to West Virginia and TCU at home to their last 4 football games. 9-3, 9-3 record I think is a little deceiving. Willie's done a great job, take nothing away for him. This isn't a top 25 football team, in my opinion.
I don't think they're a top 25 team, but I'm a Willie Fritz fan. This is a five-game improvement over what they had a year ago, and through the first 8 games of the season, they were really good. The only team that really kind of slapped them around was Texas Tech, and Texas Tech did that to a lot of people this year. What I saw, Gordy, was in the last 4 games where they regressed the most was in a turnover game. The first 8 games of the season, they only turned it over 4 times. The last 4 games of the season, they turned it over 10 times, and Connor Wegman had a lot to do with that. We'll talk about him when we talk about LSU's defense. But to me, that was the big regression. For instance, that West Virginia game, and West Virginia was not very good this year. They lost the turnover battle 4-0, and that's where they lost that game.
Yeah, we'll talk about Connor Wegman next segment. Look, I don't want to take anything with Willie Fritz. I think he's a fantastic football coach. I had a chance to go see Eddie Nunez this summer, and the facilities have come a long way there. The Fritz has put some of his own money in there. I think Slade Nagel's done a nice job with picking up Wegman out of the portal, and they won 9 games. That being said, they played Kansas State, they played Oklahoma State, they played Colorado. Nobody really jumped off the table at you. I think they beat Arizona State in Tempe, which was a nice win. My point, they didn't play the SEC schedule,
No.
And I think that's they were 9-3 in a 2-team Big 12. Let's call it what it was, and that was Texas Tech and BYU.
The Arizona State game did come against a ranked Arizona State team at the time, but that was the only one of those things. Okay, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll flip the side. We'll talk about LSU's defense, which does have a lot more missing pieces than the offensive side of the equation. We're here at Rouse's. Let Rouse's take care of you here on New Year's. In fact, they've got black-eyed peas and cabbage. You do that, Musso. You get a free green cabbage when you purchase a 5-pound bag of red or gold potatoes, bone-in pork sirloin, just $1.27 a pound. You're saving over $1 a pound there. Camellia black-eyed peas, 2 for $3, save over $2.50 there. And your 5-pound bags of Cajun Country rice, save up to $4 there. Happy New Year's from Rouse's. Price is good through January the 1st. It's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Defense. Presented by Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Now from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
And we return here at Rouse's, our LeBearish countdown to kickoff, about 4 hours and 35 minutes. Gordy, let's go through this depth chart here very quickly to see who LSU's got available. Up front, they're in pretty good shape. Bernard Gooden and Jacobian Guillory on the interior, Dominic McKinley, all those players. Plus, Ahmad Bro is going to play in this game, even though he is in the transfer portal. We hear talk about him potentially headed to Ole Miss. On the outside, they'll be without Jack Pybron, but Patrick Payton is still there. Jamari Butler is still there. Dylan Carpenter is still there. So up front, kind of okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Linebacker and in the secondary is where they're going to have to fill the most holes. One of the things that got to Connor Wegman late in the season was the interception bug really started to get to him. But two of LSU's biggest ball hawks in A.J. Halsey and Mansour Delane are not there. They'll be without all three starting linebackers. So kind of give me an idea what the secondary looks like.
Well, Spears will play safety, and then Woodland and Pickett, who've rotated, will man the corner positions. Look, I think they're fine in the secondary, and I feel really good about the front. It's that having all three linebackers out. Now, Keys and Singleton have both played. Gilbert has really not played a whole lot of the star position, where he'll be replacing Harold Perkins, and so those are your playmakers. I mean, your All-American caliber at both of those positions with Perkins and Weeks, and they're both out. And so, I think that's a challenge in this football game is Slade Nagel knowing the personnel, being the offensive coordinator at Houston. He was on the staff last year at LSU, and having Wegman, who's not an elite thrower, but has run for 600-plus yards this season. I want to say 11 touchdowns. Is that right? He's run – I know he went for 120 and 2 touchdowns against Baylor in the finale. And so you got to imagine you're going to see a lot of eye candy, a lot of misdirection to slow down the speed of this LSU defense. And I'm going to look for Wegman to attack in between the hashes, the middle of the football field, because you've got the young linebackers. We're talking about the tight ends on the crosses, the running backs, the mesh routes, and all this stuff, just where everybody else has really attacked LSU because nobody's wanted to go out on the perimeter. Now, I think especially with the aggression that Blake Baker likes to play and the fact that you're still a little green in linebacker, and I know that's a stretch with Keys. He's played a lot of football. I think that's going to be the challenge tonight in this football game.
Gordy, is there anything that you saw on film that where Connor Wegman regressed, or if it was circumstances, because the competition did not ramp up at the end of the season? They played 4 pretty nondescript football teams. But in the first 8 games of the year, where they did play some good teams like Texas Tech and Arizona State, he only threw 2 interceptions. But in the last 4 games, he threw 7. And I can't tell you exactly why. Maybe you saw something on film.
It's sloppy. I mean, I saw the one against Baylor. We talked about it. He had 4 turnovers in the game against West Virginia. He's a good quarterback. He's a good athlete. He's not an elite athlete. I mean, LSU has seen much better dual threat quarterbacks that are much faster. My takeaway watching I saw the West Virginia game. I saw the Baylor football game, and then saw TCU, which was a 17-14 football game. It was kind of shoulder shrug. I saw Texas and BYU play twice. Much different level than what these teams are playing. And we saw him a year ago in College Station, and Blake Baker and them chased him from the game, and they saw Marcel Reed in that. He's a good quarterback. He's going to play gutty. There's nothing elite. And I think LSU, even with who they're playing, they're the better athletic team, size and speed-wise.
He is a player that has well over 100 attempts in all of his college seasons, so I was surprised to look down and see him have 4 of those seasons and yet be only a junior. But, hey, last week they got a guy eligible who had been drafted by the NBA 3 years ago, so I know nothing about eligibility rules anymore.
You get another year. You get another year. You get another year. Everyone gets another year.
You could, do with that what you will. Gordy, defensively, scheme-wise, I think maybe the biggest advantage LSU has is that Blake Baker has been in place the entire time. They're not changing anything schematically. They're changing some personnel, but most of the personnel that, like we just went through, they don't have to put in guys that haven't played at all. So there is a sense of familiarity with what LSU is going to do schematically on defense tonight.
No, absolutely. And there's nobody, Houston, in that receiving core. There's nobody I think that scares you. You still have elite coverage people out back there, and you feel good about that. I expect Blake Baker to be uber aggressive, and he's rolling dice. He's staying in the same place next year. He's in a good position, and he's got a quarterback that is not going to stretch the field and likes to run. They're going to get after him. This should be a fun matchup for Blake Baker.
And there's not a lot of missing pieces for Houston compared to LSU, but there is one. As our old good friend Buddy Diliberto would tell you, the most important guy on the offense is the quarterback, but the next one might be the center. And Houston will be without their center, who they believe is their best starting offensive lineman.
Yeah, no doubt. He's out, and so that's a hit for them. And they're, much lower in terms of people missing to this game than LSU. We've seen this LSU front four, even with Carpenter and some of the backups coming in and being able to give these guys a blow. And you mentioned Bro and McKinley are available for this game. Bigger, faster. This Houston offensive line is going to have a handful. And again, they want to run the football. And I see Blake bringing a lot of pressures, a lot of run stunts and things of that nature. He can be uber aggressive tonight.
Let me ask you about Lane Kiffin. I think that my understanding is that most of the assistants that are coming from Ole Miss are not going to be there tonight. I don't know that for certain, but that's what we've been told. But Kiffin will be there. He is going to be in the booth somewhere. I would imagine that there will be a request for television to have him over for a bit. We have not heard from him since the opening press conference other than on X. So anything you might lend there that, the new head coach might be thinking, might be, opining about tonight during the broadcast?
Oh, I think he's kept his distance. At times I've been in the indoor facility and at times I've been out to practice, and I think it's been very professional. But between, both staffs, even with the circumstances and with rivals and the people that are now going from Baton Rouge up to Oxford, Mississippi. And I think he'll continue to keep his distance tonight and just take it in. The game plan. They're going to be very aggressive in the portal, and we've already seen a number of LSU fans that are hitting the portal. So I think he's just in here to make an appearance, take in the game, and be supportive, just like Brian Kelly did. Heck, I remember Brian Kelly when he came in that 2000 that Kansas State game. He literally came in, did his interview, and he was back in Baton Rouge before the end of the game. Now, I don't know if Kiffin's going to do that.
A harbinger.
But, So Kelly, for 1.5, they touched back before the game was over. Not that I could blame him. I was trying to get on that same plane and get back. Right. I didn't have to see the remainder of that game.
Well, it's just weird, right, Gordy? I mean, because I'm not blaming anybody. They did we've been through all this over the last month, and, the national media's had a field day with this, which is whatever. But it's weird. You've had LSU coaches in the Ole Miss building, Ole Miss coaches in the LSU building. You've had guys going back and forth, and all of this is necessary and because of the time constraints. And I certainly hope that that's fixed for, the future. But for the time being, it's just weird. You're not working where you're working, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, right. And so there's been correct. It's been different, and, you kind of I walk in on eggshells a little bit, right? But they've kept their distance. And what I wrap this segment up in saying is that I think the good thing about tonight is that a lot of players obviously moving on, but a lot of these players were recruited by their staff, in particular the people for Frank Wilson and what have you. And there's a nice amount of affection for Frank Wilson, right? And so I expect for LSU, in a game that they're an underdog, and most people are looking at this. What's the motivation for LSU to come and play against Houston? In this game, I think they're going to come to play, send Frank out a winner, and have this experience and put a bow on it and move on to where everyone else is going. I think sometimes you worry, Brad Davis was trying to hold all that together with 30-plus players a couple of years ago. That's not the case. I think LSU is going to come to play tonight.
Cody, have a good call and a safe trip back, and we'll see you back in Baton Rouge.
Okay, thanks, Charlie.
We are here at Rouse's. We're also brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Listen, you get rice for the holidays. Make it Supreme Rice. Grown, milled, and processed in South Louisiana since the 1930s. All of our Supreme Rice, our Louisiana farmers, part of the Climate Smart program, which is talking about reducing methane emissions and promoting water conservation. Supreme Rice in both in all of the different varieties, the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, the parboiled rice, the low glow, low glycemic rice for diabetics. It's perfect, and you're going to save some money. So pick up Supreme Rice whenever you are out shopping for rice, including here at Rouse's. More information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair,
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Orderlocks, presented by Supreme Rice. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed for generations right here in Louisiana. And we're at the Odd House every Monday. It's red beans and Supreme Rice. Parboiled rice, the Odd Father's personal favorite. Now let's get locked in with Jimmy Ott.
Well, we'll be locked in without Jimmy Ott today. He is unable to make his scheduled appearance today, but that's okay. We told him we'd pick up the slack for him, and he's got a couple picks for you for the games later today, and he's been going pretty good here during the bowl season. So San Diego State against North Texas. That game goes in about 45 minutes. North Texas a 7.5-point favorite, so takes San Diego State plus the 7 points, and likes Virginia, ranked 19th against Missouri. Virginia getting 4 points in this game. Bo Pribula not playing for Missouri. It is the freshman Zollers who has all kinds of physical ability, but was just kind of a little bit shaky in his opening. It's not unusual for a young quarterback.
Exactly. But, I mean, look, he's done well all in totality. It's been back half of the season for him, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. The completion percentage lacks there, like you said. But, I mean, when he comes in that Vanderbilt game, Hanny, and then gets the starts for the Final Four, I mean, Mizzou went 2-2. So, I mean, the only losses were A&M and Oklahoma. That's 2 playoff teams. He took care of business against everybody else. And, I mean, Ahmad Hardy is playing in this game as well, I do believe. Yes? I haven't.
As far as I know. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big boost for the Missouri offense as well.
Gordy was talking about Houston. So, that doesn't really feel like a top 25 team. I kind of feel the same way about Virginia. There were a lot of they had the one good win against Duke before they lost in the rematch, but it's Cal, it's Washington State, it's North Carolina, it's Stanford, it's Coastal Carolina. They did have a win against Florida State back when Florida State thought they were good. That was
a wild game.
It was a Friday night game,
it was
right?
A Friday night game in Charlottesville. That was insane. Overtime.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where it kind of started Florida State on their downward. They have a win over Louisville, so that was that's a nice win. But Missouri much more battle tested here, but taking Virginia. Getting better than a touchdown here.
And again, one thing one thing I'm curious about with Virginia is motivation's a huge thing in these bowl games. If they don't drop that game in the ACC Championship to Duke, they're in the playoff. Now, they're probably eliminated by now, but you had your eyes on bigger things. Are you hyped up to play in the Gator Bowl if you're Virginia right now? I don't know.
We're watching games in progress right now. Army leading UConn 34-10. One thing you can always count on from the service academies is that they
bowl games. Man.
Look for the opt-outs. There ain't any. Okay. Look for the motivation. It's always there.
Yeah.
The military schools in the bowl games have an exemplary record. Army's continuing that today. Georgia Tech has jumped out, taking advantage of a BYU turnover to quickly turn this from a 10-7 deficit into a 21-10 lead. Georgia Tech, but a little over 2 minutes to go to the half there. Miami of Ohio leading Fresno State 3-0. That is in the Arizona Bowl. Who's the sponsor for the Arizona Bowl?
Oh, I can't see it either.
No, I know.
Tony the Tiger? No, it's the Sun Bowl.
No, but you're on the right track. It's a person. The Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that's right. Snoop Dogg.
Sure.
That's right.
Earlier today, we had the Military Bowl. Pittsburgh managed to outgain East Carolina by 125 yards and have 24 first downs to 11 and lose because they turned the ball over 5 times. The freshman, Mason Heinschel, who has had a phenomenal back half of the season, was a mess today. Had an interception, a couple of fumbles. Pitt just kept putting the ball on the ground. They gave East Carolina point-blank range scoring opportunities all day long, so East Carolina wins that game in Annapolis. And at the Yankee Stadium today, Penn State beats Clemson 22-10. Bad Boy Mowers is a wonderful sponsor, but I have to call it. It's almost like the disappointment bowl, right? These were two top 5 teams to start the season. This is not where they thought they were going to end up. We thought that there might be an advantage for Clemson. There weren't very many opt-outs. Cade Klubnik played the whole game. And Clemson could not move the ball to save their life. Not that Penn State was a whole lot better until the fourth quarter, but
the weather there was brutal, man.
It was, and the field looked terrible.
It did. The field. Well, it's Yankee Stadium. It's not in use right now.
Right. It's not supposed to be.
And especially after it had a foot of snow on it yesterday or somewhere around there. I mean.
It wasn't quite the mud that LSU and Penn State played in Orlando, but Penn State is certainly dealt with some bad conditions before, but this one was particularly bad.
Play football games in football stadiums. Wild idea, I know.
Well, I can't tell you that there's not some novelty.
Yeah,
there's been the game at Wrigley Field, but yes, in general, games that matter, play them in football stadiums, and play the baseball games in baseball stadiums.
Yes,
because when you play the baseball games in football stadiums, then it's $390 to right center and $240 to left center. You're just not gonna.
Which is also like Yankee Stadium, just reversed.
That's true. Ever tell you about the year that George Steinbrenner decided the Yankees were going to win the pennant by stealing bases? Didn't go well. We're here at Rouse's. Shea Dixon going to talk to us when we come back. We'll have Shea on both recruiting and the transfer portal. Matt Moscona still to join us. The guys from OTB. Scott Rabelais is in Houston for the game. We'll hear from Willie Fritz today. Richard Dixon, Chris Blair. Lots still to come here from Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose. Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team.
Our LeBears countdown to kickoff, about 4 hours and 10 minutes. Let the sportsbook at LeBears be your game day headquarters. And headquarters for Shay Dixon is in Houston, Texas, where he is for tonight's game. Shay, hope you had a Merry Christmas, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here on the pregame.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year coming up, all of it to you, Charlie and Moose. And, I guess I would say another season in the books, but not yet. One more game.
And we're going to talk about that game, but let's talk about recruiting first. LSU came in 13th in the country, which on signing day was the highest of any of the teams that had made coaching changes. Now, since then, Michigan has had to change coaches, so they were a couple of spots in front of LSU, but still pretty good there. Not you've had a little bit of time to digest it since last we talked. Give me your thoughts on this class of incoming high school seniors.
Yeah, I mean, a smaller class, 14 total signees, and those days leading up to it, remember, Charlie, and for those that maybe don't keep up daily, it was a kind of wild, I guess, stretch. Few days. Lane Kiffin arrived on a Sunday, and then by Wednesday was the first day of the early signing period, and there was a number of different things that kind of unfolded in there, whether it was Lane flipping Ole Miss commits, multiple of them, into LSU's class, including a wide receiver who's a top 150 player in the country, and at the same time, Charlie parting ways with another four-star top 300 receiver who'd been committed to LSU, as well as a number of other guys. So very quickly, he kind of got a feel for, hey, here's who's going to fit, here's who we're going to move on from, mostly on offense. And look, the biggest news was the five stars. It was Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown, who for a few days gave LSU fans a little bit of panic when they said they were going to hold off into February signing day, which, Charlie, you and I celebrate. Nobody else wanted to celebrate that. News from the recruits. But Lane Kiffin, Billy Glasscock, the new GM, who's in place of Austin Thomas, met with both guys, their representation, family, all that. Bryce Brown, head coach of Carr, and ultimately both of them decided not only not to delay it, but end up signing on Wednesday.
These are guys also on the defensive side of the ball. I think it was significant to me that he was able, if this would have been a quarterback, you get, okay, well, they want to go for Lane Kiffin. He was able to convince defensive guys. And this was, correct me if I'm wrong, when there was still a good bit of concern that Blake Baker would take a head coaching job somewhere else.
Yeah, this was days prior to that, and I don't think that they had it locked up by then, from all we've heard. So, toss in the reality that as defensive linemen, they did not know who their defensive line coach would be. People had Kevin Peoples coaches ends and the pass rushers, and that's what Lamar Brown wants to do. But Richard Anderson is your number one D lineman in the country, and it was then Kyle Williams was, finally, I guess, for him, fingers crossed, moving into retirement after, I assume, being involved in football since about the age of 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
But now that you didn't know, right, that Sterling Lucas from South Carolina was going to be the new D-line coach, and that's a splash hire. Like, if they announced that a few days before signing day, that becomes the rhetoric more than, hey, Lane and Billy Glasscock and them were able to convince these two guys, look, stay committed, sign now with a DC who's in limbo of what he's going to do with his job, and then a D-line coach who I can't even tell you right now who it will be.
They did not sign a quarterback. There was not a quarterback committed, and now that you've had a quarterback that has left the program and another one that's exhausted his eligibility, your quarterback numbers are down. We're going to talk about transfer portal in the next segment, but he did try to flip a quarterback before signing date and came up just a little bit short.
Yeah, and it was a name we'd become familiar with. And Charlie, look, this dates back to Bryce Underwood, right? had Bryce Underwood committed all the way up until the 11th hour. He ends up signing with Michigan, staying home on what became pretty well known as a pretty massive NIL deal. And he started as a true freshman this past year. Well, and left LSU kind of, at the altar there by themselves at the very end before signing day. So you go, sign a quarterback. Not ideal, but in this next cycle, remember the name Bo Bentley. He ended up signing with OU. That's who they sort of pursued, didn't get him, then went on to Landon Duckworth, which is who we're talking about now. He's been committed to South Carolina. He's from Alabama, dual threat quarterback, state champ in basketball and football, highly ranked kid, top 10 quarterback. And they had gone off after him with Sloan and BK, and he had visited and did an official with his mom and all that in Baton Rouge, but didn't flip. And then when Kiffin and company got here, they go all kind of in after him, doesn't flip, ultimately signed to South Carolina. So you talked about, too, the attrition. Look, the last two high school quarterbacks LSU signed, given I just gave you a stretch where they went 2 years without signing one, 2 cycles, were Ricky Collins and Colin Hurley. Ricky Collins plays for Syracuse. Colin Hurley is in the portal. So you can go now 4 years, right, of guys who either you just didn't sign one or they're not on your roster.
Hey, look, the Saints haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round since 1971. So sometimes you can go through long periods where you find your quarterback somewhere else, Shay, at college and the pro level. Before we flip over, we start talking about the transfer portal. Is there any indication that there's anybody left on LSU's board that they are pursuing out of high school for the late signing period?
Dug around there, and I think they're watching some film and getting a feel for roster numbers, who's going to end up leaving the team in the portal, and maybe if you have to address one position with a late high school guy, you do. But at the same time, when we're talking about a head coach in Lane Kiffin, who, like you said, we'll talk about the portal here in a minute, but is kind of embraced it as much as anyone with success. And if you want to reshape the roster and make a 7-5 roster a playoff team right away, you're doing a lot of shakeup through the portal. You only signed 14 high school guys, so you're really expecting a lot more than just natural attrition, but you're expecting attrition from, hey, are these guys, with NIL and rev share, did they match that, what they're wanting? Do they fit what we do? All of those things. And then I just look at the portal and I think, okay, well, they're going to stock up there, Charlie. So I just don't know if there's anyone that they would see at the talent level to bring in as a freshman, when at that point it's probably a developmental guy, and that's becoming, we'll see, in the Kiffin era, but maybe a little bit fewer and far between in this new era of college athletics, most certainly at a place like LSU, than it had been forever.
Fair enough. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with more with Shea Dixon, the Bengal Tiger from On 3. He's over in Houston for tonight's game. We'll talk transfer portal when we come back with Shea. This is from Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team.
Bears countdown to kickoff at 4 hours exactly right now. Let the sportsbook at LeBears be your game day headquarters. Shay Dixon is in Houston, Texas, from the Bengal Tiger on 3 Network. Shay, when we look at, we know a good bit of what's going to happen as far as outgoing in the transfer portal for LSU right now. We won't get to incoming for another week or so, but just judging from what we know is leaving and what we know going pro, guys that are losing their eligibility, this is going to have to be a pretty big number in a transfer portal. How big do you think, if you had to guess?
You know, I've been so confidently saying this to members of the Bengal Tiger on the board or on the radio with other people, and I've always given it in an over-under. But now I realize I'm talking to you about over-under. My God, maybe I should be a bit more measured.
I'm not going to hold you to a wager, Shay. Just give me a number. If you don't hit right at the exact center of the dartboard, believe me, I'll understand. But give me an idea.
I think you can probably safely win both my overs. But I think, and I thought this, just from looking at the roster before we even saw the portal entrance, was that at least 20 guys, over under 20 guys, would end up leaving and 20 would come in. Yeah, they signed a small class, 14. We'll see what their retention looks like. We'll see if they can snag a Braylon Moore or someone type who you think might go pro and doesn't, or guys who don't enter the portal. That'll shuffle the numbers a little. But we're already at 12 for guys planning to transfer out. I would imagine that once this game is played tonight, the season's over, that number sort of quickly increases. So I feel good about that side. Knowing that, like you said, Charlie, then you've really got to match a big number. So it's not going to surprise me at all if they take more than 20 guys in the portal and or around that number. I think 20 to 25 would not be crazy to think about. And look, a year ago, which was entering Brian Kelly's 4th year, so it wasn't like, golly, I'm sitting here in the parking lot of NRG. It wasn't like when Kelly got hired and they had played at NRG with 38 guys and it was like, let's go sign everybody. Entering year 4, they had a huge portal class. I mean, that was probably 17 guys last year, 18 guys, something like that. And you would just expect, given the roster breakdown and a coach who embraces the portal far more often than most coaches, coupled with a coaching change and sort of what comes with that you could probably clear 20 both ways.
I think it's going to be closer to 30 than it is to 20.
We go.
That's just me.
Remember, the days are over. I got shut down. I'm lost.
No. You're not shut. I respect your opinion. I think it might have to be more than that. And remember that you can get the rosters next year. So you've got those limitations that are going up. I think there's a lot of guys that he is – I'm watching on the offensive line right now, and these guys, I know he's talked to everybody and said, okay, this is what, where we think you fit. And a lot of these guys just don't fit. They got to go, they got to go out and find them. And if he's got enough budget, and certainly he should, there are a lot of guys you can bring in on one-year deals. I hate to talk about it like free agency, but that's what it is. We don't have to shy away from that anymore. You go out and you tell a kid from that Liberty, okay? Yeah. You can come in here. We're going to guarantee you 1 year. We're going to guarantee you this, and you can come play for LSU and maybe snag, another handful of guys that way. Just in the interest of filling in all of the gaps, Shay, that's kind of where I'm coming from to get his numbers up where he'd like to have them.
You're Josh Thompson types, right?
Yeah.
He just started at every game at right guard, and he was one of the more coveted, interior players in the portal and had all the big offers. And you knew you only had him on campus for 6 months or whatever it might be. And look. We've got to get over that, whatever type of feeling. Is it an icky feeling? Whatever it is of being like, it's kind of free agency. It feels like NFL. Well, but here's the rules, so let's just lay it out like it is. You're right. If you are embracing, hey, we need to go big at quarterback or these other positions that are going to cost more money than others would, you can fill out a good amount of depth, or even offensive linemen who you're not tied in, like you said, multi-year kind of NIL deals or rev share deals and agreements to where they get on campus. And you're like, man, they're not as good as I thought they were. And here we're stuck with this situation right now. So, yeah, I do think that we do see a lot of that. If they're getting, let's split it, right, Charlie, 25. If they're taking 25 guys, not all of them are starters, obviously.
And let me tell you why it feels, in my opinion, why it feels a little bit icky. And while we're still, we're 4-5 years into this now with, no sitting out for transfers, it feels like we used to feel about junior college kids. The book on junior college kids was don't take too many, because something was wrong with them. They might have had grade problems. They've been late developers. They might have had problems off the field. But you just, and you could hit on some. And LSU did hit on some really good junior college players. But the thing was, if you took too many, somewhere those problems that kept them from being recruited in the first place would resurface. So I think there's that feeling sometimes about the transfer portal, which is what's wrong with him. And my answer to that is, in most cases is nothing. He probably wants more money or more playing time, one of the two. So there's nothing wrong with them as long as you do your evaluations properly. I mean, yeah, there's guys out there that can't play. But if you feel good about your evaluations, there's nothing wrong with taking a bunch of these guys, because they're not necessarily coming out of a bad situation, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Shay, what can you tell us about new GM Billy Glasscock? I mean, look, he's done it a couple different ways at Ole Miss. We haven't got a chance to hear from him, obviously, and I feel like maybe there's a lot of unknown. What can you tell us about him and his process when it comes to helping Lane Kiffin in the portal?
Yeah, look, I'll say this, and this isn't anything about Austin Thomas, who's been the GM multiple times here. This is just an Ole Miss point. I asked multiple people at Ole Miss, from coaches to media members, about Billy Glasscock. And this was post-Lane leaving, right? Post-Billy leaving. So you could toss in, they're going to be bitter about it or upset or have an opinion. Across the board is he's the best GM in college football. When it comes to what Lane wants to do, how you build a roster right now, the portal, rev share, understanding kind of what Charlie was talking about earlier of that, are there one-year guys we can get? How do we map this out right now to put us into the best position win this year, while also making really good evals on those guys and putting staffers in place who can make really good evals and hit, have the A.J. Hall season, and obviously Mansour Delane's, but even Tamarcus Cooley. So you're able to start every game and doesn't come in and end up being not the guy you thought you were, which that happened to them. Remember Deuce Chestnut, others, they've signed big-name guys out of the portal who then, right after 2 games, they never played again. So the feeling was that at Ole Miss, they just did, given the circumstances, right? Even if you said the Grove Collective is great, they've got money, they're doing this, that. But remember when Lane Kiffin played LSU and said, well, must be nice to have Mansour, Delane, and Halsey and them. They're the most expensive guys in the portal. You know, we couldn't do that type thing. And he wants that, right? So I think that Dave Glasscock is someone who's able to manage the whole what Lane wants, what he's looking for, and how it fits into kind of the overall team roster building perspective. When you're no longer in this, I'll be spending my next – here's a cringe moment for Charlie, too, on signing day. I'll be spending my next 3 to 5 years at this school, was the old thing, which now I guess you could be like 3 to 10 years or whatever it is, or 1 to 10. I'll be spending my next 1 to 10 years at this school. But I just feel like that everything I got back was he's sort of the perfect yin and yang with Kiffin in terms of having sort of that business acumen coupled with football acumen to be able to put together sort of the Lane's vision, what he has in his mind and on paper, and kind of put a plan in action to make it happen. So, look, he's hit the ground running. I mean, I can tell you from talking to people down here, if there's an important conversation to be had, Billy Glasscock's part of it.
Yeah, I plan to retire here at good old State U. Shay, when they get their roster in place that they want, and maybe this is a year, maybe this is 2 years, what is their ideal, as far as you've been able to say, what is their ideal ratio of high school players to portal players? You don't have to give me the raw numbers, okay, like 25 or 25 and 10 or 25 and 15, but from a percentage standpoint, what of the incoming players each year do they think is the best balance between the high school class and the transfer portal class?
You know, I think that's probably the thing I'm maybe most curious about is all of the hype around Lane and the portal, but how much of that was a need at a place like Ole Miss versus LSU, and how much does he lean into, hey, we're still going to take Louisiana, Texas, South Mississippi, Florida, and do what LSU's done in recruiting, which, like, USC signed like 40 guys this year, right? Like, even when LSU's leaned into everything Louisiana had to offer in East Texas and all those states, they were signing 25 guys. And I sort of even fell into that. Man, Lane must have been, back, it's like the opposite of the Hugh Freeze or Houston Nut days where he signed like 34 people and you can only sign 25, and it was like back counting everybody.
Gray shirt, blue shirts, red shirts. Yeah.
Right. He was signing, 10 high school guys a year. But look, the last 4 or 5 years, it was 21, 23, 22. I think he had 1 year in the team. Certainly didn't have any time where you had 14, which is what you just signed at LSU, granted coaching transition. But I think, Charlie, if you do the math there, it'll lean more portal than it has been previously at LSU. But I don't think it's going to be to such a degree to where it becomes incredibly noticeable that, like, hey, LSU doesn't have anybody like out there. It's like playing high school football that develops here. I think it'll sort of be your marquee positions and then kind of spot, recruit where you're at with each position. So percentage, I don't know, but I do think from a recruiting perspective, 14 will probably be the lowest he ever signs at LSU. I think it'll be in the 20s.
Last question. We'll let you get into the stadium. Quarterback for next year. This is kind of a layered question. First of all, what is your best knowledge of the Trinidad Chambliss appeal and LSU's chances to get him? I maintain that Ole Miss will break the bank to make sure that he's not here, but I don't know that. I'll listen to your opinion there. And if not, getting 2 quarterbacks out of the transfer portal to me would seem difficult. If only because at least one of them is not going to be able to be the starter next year. So you tell me, as LSU goes searching for a quarterback for next year, how those two things balance out.
And the third layer to this is the quarterback who starts right now, Michael Van Buren, who's only a sophomore. And I'll quickly say, Charlie, if Charlie Hanagriff signs with Mississippi State, freshman, I'm a backup. Well, the starter gets hurt and I start double-digit games. Well, I go to LSU. I know I'm the backup, but just for 1 year. Then they're going to let me start as the heir apparent to Nussmeier. Well, the whole coaching staff gets fired, but you still, Charlie, start for now 5 games. So you now look at Lane Kiffin. I'll put the percentage odds, and I don't think it has much to do with Van Buren at all, and maybe his talent level, sure, but Kiffin is going to go get a quarterback who's a starter. I do not believe the starter next year will be Van Buren. Like, Kiffin didn't recruit Van Buren out of high school. That was like 2 years ago with the state. So I think that with that being said, Charlie, you now for a third year be like, yeah, I've got 17 SEC starts, but I'll be a backup again as a junior. Probably not. What if LSU has no scholarship quarterback? So you're having to take at least two. Just thinking of what Michael Van Buren might do. Now, look, if he's willing to stick around and compete, that is massive. But they're going to go out and find a starting quarterback, and that's, I think, almost a given, not just with Lane, but look, Pete Nakos at On 3 had said multiple times, from talking to parents, talking to, coaches, players, all these guys off the record, agents, that it's LSU and Miami that are out there calling up the who's who of quarterback transfers and saying, what do we have to do to get you down here? What are things looking like? And LSU's fielding a lot of those calls. So I do think that it goes to the whole get a marquee starter that you know is the guy, and Charlie maybe has a year left, right? Then it becomes a bit easier to convince the younger guy, hey, look, come in, get ready, you're the next guy up. And hey, look, that's what Trinidad Chambliss was when he came to Ole Miss, and then he ended up starting, all but a couple games for him after Austin Simmons got hurt. So I think that depending on Van Buren, and maybe regardless, they're signing two quarterbacks out of the portal, and it might be a little bit easier than we think it would be if you can strike that balance of, hey, here's our guy who's just going to go for a year and move to the NFL, and here's our guy for the future, prospectively.
And any thoughts on Chambliss?
Everybody at Ole Miss, but even before the Kevin stuff and nothing to do with will he stay or go, did not think that the waiver was going to get approved. So we haven't heard yet. I mean, even Trinidad said he thought he was going to hear before that Tulane game and didn't, but that will be the name to monitor if ultimately he does get the waiver, and whenever Ole Miss's season ends, right? Because there's going to be a number of guys on that roster that LSU's interested in who are eligible to enter the portal. So it'll be beyond Trinidad.
Yeah, I believe you with the waiver part of it. My thing on this, and if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, but it was just too convenient. Oh, well, Kiffin will come. Chambliss will get the waiver, then he'll follow. Kejuan Lacey will be right behind him. And I'm just going to tell you that Chambliss and Lacey leave Oxford over Colonel Reb's dead body. I mean, they can leave, but they will be offered the sun, the moon, the stars, and multiple universes we don't even know about to stay there, because they just can't let that happen. They can't let Lane Kiffin take his quarterback and his star running back, go to a rival school, come into Oxford and beat them next year. That if he wins the game, he wins the game. But he can't take the quarterback and the running back too. They will empty every bank account in Oxford before they let that happen. So it just seemed like that was going to be a very difficult. It sounds good, okay, but in my opinion, it was just going to be really difficult to execute that whole thing. Maybe it happens. I don't know.
I'm with you. Instead of Colonel Reb's dead body, I thought you were going to go with the great Tommy Tuberville.
in a pine box. Right.
Hey, Charlie, real quick, and I'll tell you, I don't know if this is the end for me here on the segment, but it's like Bryce Underwood at Michigan. You can't lose him if everything else in the program has gone wrong, right?
Yeah. No, that's exactly. There's just some. It's not a lot of them, but sometimes it's a must-have. And to me, I think for Ole Miss, that's probably a must-have. We'll see how it goes. Shay, as always, man, we appreciate everything you've done for us all year. We'll be in touch, obviously a lot, but enjoy the game. Have a safe trip home.
Yeah, they went 7-5, Charlie, guys. We went 14-0.
That's it. Shay Dixon from the Bengal Tiger, the On 3 Network. We're here at Rouse's Market, Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel?
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Scouting Report. Presented by Demco. Providing safe, reliable, and competitively priced energy services to co-op members since 1938.
Welcome back in, Eagle 98.1 Game Day. We are live from the Rouses on Burbank and Lee. Last one for 2025, LSU. They'll face Houston tonight, 8:15 in the Texas Bowl. Only show in town, only primetime game. And it'll close out what has certainly been an interesting season for the LSU Tigers. But the regular season ends. The next step begins for plenty. That's why we call on Drew Fabianich this week, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. A couple LSU Tigers have officially accepted their invite, and man, the game is right around the corner. Drew, we appreciate you as always. Thanks for hopping on with us one more time.
Yeah, not a problem at all, Matt. I always enjoy being on with you guys.
All right, let's just start with the LSU Tigers and the two that have officially accepted the invite to the Senior Bowl. Two guys that you've been high on all year. It was as long as we've been doing this, Drew. I mean, when I saw those two guys that accepted, it was really no surprise they got the offer and you know, are heading to Mobile. Berrien Brown and Jack Pyburn. Just kind of individually what y'all are expecting and hoping to see out of each of them when they take to the field on January 31st.
Well, you know, what this is this the showcase of the 140 best players in the country. And, you know, and they're going to be up against stiff competition, and that's what we're hoping to see is how they compete and how they stack up against, you know, the best players in the country. You know, and like with Berrien, I mean, you know, again, was there a ton of production? No, you know, this year, but, you know, again, you saw traits that equates to NFL player. And now he's going to be playing against the best corners, you know, that are out there and the best safeties that are out there, and those are the guys that are going to get drafted. I mean, I always tell people this: if you're going to go to the Senior Bowl, it's the only place you can go where you can see every single player on the field is going to get drafted, and you can't say that any other college play, any other college game or any other bowl game at all. So that's what the difference in this game is from any other game you can go to. You know, with Jack Pyburn, you know, he wasn't as productive as he was, you know, at Florida. I want to see him perform, you know, the way he's capable. Because I love the play temperament, I love the strength, I love versatility. And again, I like a guy like him just because, you know, guys that have effort like that and play that hard, at some point during the game, you're going to break that offensive lineman. You're going to break him just because he's going to take just one snap off or two snaps off, and then there's your two sacks right there. You know, guys like that, I call them hair on fire guys, where, you know, they're just going to, you better bring your damn damn lunch pail, because if you let down your guard, he's going to take advantage of it. So I like both players, and again, they get to showcase themselves to the entire NFL. All the decision makers are here, the head coaches are here, and guess what? Where can you find that? And being Pats. If you watch, LSU play Alabama, is everybody on that field going to get drafted? No. But everybody here is going to get drafted. So that's the biggest piece of this, Matt.
Let's flip over to Houston. They do have one player that y'all have invited, and he has accepted, and he is a standout at tight end, Tanner Kojoil. I mean, this guy, Drew, hell of a player. He led all FBS tight ends in receptions and was third in receiving yards, and he'll be on the field as well in Mobile.
Yeah, and notice what you said, the receiving. He is a very good receiving tight end. I'd like to see him in line here and showing the NFL teams that he can actually set an edge, and be, one-on-one with the defensive end and be able to control that defensive end. That's what he needs to show here, because tape's good enough to let every NFL team know that, hey, guess what? He's a pass-receiving tight end. He's good in and out of his breaks. He separates well. He's good with the run after the catch. He needs a little bit more mass and a little bit more size, and some strength as a blocker, to be a true inline player in the NFL. So he's got a little bit to prove down here, but real quality receiving tight end.
Talking with Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. He's been gracious and been with us all year, every week here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day, giving us a scouting report on the competition. Drew, I want to talk more about the game now and the spectacle that it is. So January 31st, 2026, 1:30 Central PM kickoff time for the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Hancock Whitney Stadium. First, give me the situation with tickets. Are they on sale? How can the fans who are looking to make the trip get involved and get tickets to this year's Senior Bowl?
You can go online, seniorbowl.com. The luxury, we call them the luxury seats, are going quickly. The bleacher seats, there's still a few available, but this game is sold out for the last 2 years. So you better take advantage of it, and you won't find a cheaper ticket in college football anywhere you go. I promise you, we're very, very reasonable. They don't cost a lot. The concessions are reasonable. The tailgating is immense. The fan experience before the game is second to none. It's a giant cocktail party outside, and it floods over to the inside, and then you see a great football game with, like I said, all draftable players, out there, in pads doing it, because this isn't a combine. This is actually playing a football game. I've never been to the game. This will be my first game, but I've heard about it from many people, and they say it's quite a spectacle, quite an event, and I don't disagree with that. This is what I've heard. Because I used to watch the tape instead, because you can't press rewind at a game. And when you're grading every single player, it's impossible to grade every single player if you're doing it in person. So get online, get them now, because if you don't, and like I said, incredibly reasonably priced, your family, can come, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. It won't. And it's worth the drive just to see that many future NFL players in one place at one time.
Mobile, it's not a far drive from Baton Rouge. You got 2 LSU players in the game. Y'all go ahead, seniorbowl.com to get your tickets. You heard him. They're going fast. And it's not just the game. Drew, I understand there's also Fan Fest. There's a concert the night before the game as well.
Yeah, it's actually Muscadine Bloodline, which are actually 2 local young men. And if you haven't heard them, you need to. A lot like Whiskey Myers, Red Clay Strays, kind of that kind of vein. They're kind of blowing up now. Since we signed them, I mean, if we would have signed them when we did, we probably would have had to spend a lot more money on it. It's going to be at Mardi Gras Square. It's free to the public, and it's the Friday night before the game. We have a player Mardi Gras parade where the players will actually go through a parade for Mardi Gras, and they'll go back to the hotel, and then the parade will end up going right over to the Mardi Gras Square for the concert. So there's a lot going on here, and it's very fan-friendly. And if you don't take advantage of it, I mean, I think you'd be remiss by saying, heck, what if you could have watched Justin Herbert and Josh Allen together in a game?
Yeah.
When can you say that in Alabama? So, and there'll be first-round guys here, left and right. There'll be draftable guys, filling up the roster. So, again, I would say this would be an event that you want to take advantage of.
What more could you want? Great football, free concert, Mardi Gras parade. Although it's Mobile Mardi Gras, and we're going to take a little offense to that here, but.
Well, now they claim this was the first Mardi Gras. Now.
Yeah, I know what they claim, Drew. I know what they claim.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I know. Get over there, y'all. Check it out again. Short drive from Baton Rouge. Go see some Tigers. Go support a great event, the Panini Senior Bowl. Drew, we appreciate it all year long, man. Is there anything that I didn't mention about the game that you want to let the people know about?
Well, I don't think so, Matt. I think you covered it pretty well, and I appreciate y'all. And like I said, it just go online and check out the pricing, check out what you get for this game, and you're gonna find out it's very reasonable, compared to going to any college game. Okay.
Absolutely. The Panini Senior Bowl, January 31st, 2026, 1:30 p.m. Central kickoff. Tickets on sale, but going fast. SeniorBowl.com for your tickets. Drew, we appreciate the time all year, man. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you and yours, and we'll link up in the future.
Thank you. See you, Matt.
Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side. We continue to count you down. LSU, Houston in the Kinder's Texas Bowl. More straight ahead on Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day. After further review on Game Day, presented by Alpha Customs. Alpha Customs. Be an Alpha. AlphaCustoms.net. After further review is heard weekday afternoons at 3 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
Carla Bearish countdown to kickoff now at 3 hours and 25 minutes. Let the sportsbook at L'Auberge be your game day headquarters. Matt, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. How you doing?
I'd be doing better if Justin Herbert didn't just throw an interception at the goal line.
And here we are. I feel the same way about the BYU quarterback throwing one in the end zone, so we're even.
What are we doing? The Pop-Tarts Bowl was on. What are we watching NFL for?
The NFL game
is better. The NFL is way better than the Pop-Tarts.
This is the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you.
Gosh.
I've been playing the Pop-Tart Bowl. I don't care.
Yeah. I care a little bit. I care like plus 3.5. Matt, what is the biggest story to you in the first roughly month of Lane Kiffin's tenure as coach? Any developments, comings, goings, whatever? What's the biggest story to you through the first 4 weeks?
Oh, it's, to me, I think his staff. It's getting the guys he wanted to come over with him from Ole Miss, and then retaining Blake Baker. And not only that he was able to get those guys, but think about what it cost. I mean, Charlie Weiss is going to be making $2.5 million. Blake Baker's up to $3 million. So maybe all that is a symptom of the bigger storyline, which is Lane Kiffin came because he thought he was going to get championship level buy-in, and so far LSU is complying.
And not just the money, but the situation. Baker in particular, he was offered 2 head coaching jobs, where it has proven the last guy in the Tulane case, both cases, the last 2 guys have left those jobs at Memphis and Tulane to go to Power for head coaching jobs. So you can do that there. You can do it here too. We've seen coordinators go to Power 4 jobs from LSU, but he turned 2 of those opportunities down. Now, he's at the top of the defensive coordinator food chain as far as money goes, but it's less than what he would have made as a head coach. So he made that decision to come here or to stay here because this situation is better, and money was certainly part of it, but it wasn't the only part of it.
Well, the money part of it, just to clarify, I was told that Memphis's original offer for Baker was 1.8. So I don't even know why they bothered, if that's where they were trying to lowball him.
I thought it was more than that, but...
Well, I do know that was their original offer, was 1.8. And the money at Tulane would have been comparable. They would have been right around 3. So I think for Blake, he certainly looked at his ability to get where he wanted to go on 2 different paths. The other component of this that was very real was his family component. He's got 3 kids, 10, 8, and 6. They just moved here 2 years ago from Missouri. And if you just go back to the COVID year, Miami to Baton Rouge for a year, to Como for 2, back to Baton Rouge then for 2, then to New Orleans with an idea of moving again. I think Blake and his wife Rosalind and their children were looking at a more family-centric decision, and LSU had to play ball. I mean, they had to get him there financially and make all of this make sense for him. But they did, and as a result, LSU kept one of the best defensive coordinators in the country for at least another year.
Let's talk about roster building here for a minute. They're going to have to be deep into the portal. Shay and I just had a conversation about this. How deep into the portal do you think they will dig this year?
So I got out of the car because Shay was filibustering and wouldn't give you a number. So what did he say was his number?
I got him committed to 25. I think I got him to settle in on 25.
Okay, if you look at the last 4 years at Ole Miss, okay, that's 4 years of the NIL era, right? Ole Miss went 20, 23, 26, 30 the last 4 years. This roster right now that's in the playoff had 30 players via the portal. So I don't know that LSU is going to get to 30, but they will absolutely be north of 20. And we thought Brian Kelly's staff this year signing was at 19 was big. They're going to go north of 20, and a lot of that's going to be out of necessity because remember all the guys that you just signed in this year's portal class, they were all 1 year mercenaries. I mean, with the exception of a few guys like Tamarcus Cooley will be back. I think Nick Anderson will be back. They're fingers crossed, hoping Braylon Moore's back. But overwhelmingly, all those guys, especially the defensive guys, they're all gone. So that your seniors, your portal guys, they're gonna have to. And you only signed 14 high school guys. So just to get to the 105, provided LSU does get to the 105, they're going to have to go in the portal north of 20, probably closer to 30.
And the 2 positions at least in my opinion, that you're most curious about are quarterback and offensive line. So we're counting quarterbacks right now, and Van Buren at least has indicated that he'd like to come back, but that was very early in the process. We'll see what he thinks. And the rest of your quarterbacks are all gone. So are you going to go into the portal for, in my opinion, at least 2 quarterbacks? And I think that's a tough sell because one of those guys is going to be below the other guy.
Well, it's very doable. So just consider Trinidad Chambliss. If Chambliss was going to go to Temple until he had the offer to Ole Miss, he went to Ole Miss knowing Austin Simmons was there. He was going to be a backup. He only played because Simmons got hurt, and then he played well.
Right.
Michael Van Buren came this year knowing he was going to be behind Nussmeier. A.J. Swan came 2 years ago knowing he was going to be behind Nussmeier. So there are those guys that will be in the portal knowing they are backups in the portal. And maybe that's a 2-year signing where they know they'll be behind, like Van Buren this year, who knew he was going to sit behind Nuss with the idea of starting in 26. Now, I don't think any of us think that's a reality at this point. But I do think it is very plausible and likely that LSU will sign a premier portal quarterback to be the starter and then a backup in the portal. They got to go get 2. I mean, you can't they got, I mean, if Van Buren leaves, they'll have literally no scholarship quarterbacks. I mean, the absurdity of this is kind of comical, but yeah, no, they've got to go at least 2.
The other one is on the offensive line, and it's easy to look at this thing and say, hey, look, everybody you got, pretty much, not everybody, but almost everybody, is leaving. Well, my thought was if Lane Kiffin turned on this tape and came up with a number for every one of those guys to come back, they're probably not wild about their number because he probably wasn't wild about what he saw on tape. I think some of these guys have got some real ability that with a different offensive line coach, they might have more success, but probably most of them will hit the door. We'll see if Kern changes his mind or not. But, Matt, there were 10 offensive linemen. A couple of them played in the last 2 classes before this one. And a lot of these guys are still hanging around on the roster. To me, that's where, and on the defensive line as well, they signed 4 last year. Those are the guys that have got to fill in, and they're making that jump into the second or their third year. It's a new coaching staff. To me, they're going to have to get a lot of production out of those guys because I don't know that you can go out and sign 7 offensive linemen in the portal. I don't know that the medium exists for that.
Yeah. So here's what they're going to do in the portal. Number one, the expectation today is Braylon Moore is going to return, which is massive. He got healthy. He's going to play in this game, and the expectation is he will return next year. That could change if he's not going to go in the portal, but he could go pro, right? So that draft declaration deadline is in the middle of January. But if Braylon Moore comes back, you have your starting center, and I understand they're going to sign 3 starting offensive linemen. They want 2 guards and a tackle. So that puts you at 4 starters, and then you have some combination of Weston Davis, Ori Williams, Ethan Callaway, all the guys that have been hanging around. Both Bordelons are there. You still got Solomon Thomas. There's the possibility that I was told that Karius Kern could return. I think something that you're going to see is and something you were seeing, is a lot of these guys, their agents are encouraging them to, declare for the portal, their intention for the portal, to test the market and see what it may bear with the opportunity potentially to return to the school where they currently are at. But I actually did a Locked On LSU podcast just earlier this afternoon after the announcement from Adams came, or the news about Adams came. And the way that I sort of broke it down, I think they'll have 13 scholarship offensive linemen next year if they add 3 starters via the portal, and accounting for losing 2 more, which I think is possible. Which I don't know if you agree, Hanny. Musso, 13 I think is plenty. I mean, get your 2 deep plus 3 young guys, swing linemen. I mean, I think they'll have plenty. But the key is hitting on the right 3 starters in the portal.
Yeah, ideally I'd like to have 15, but it's like left-handed relief pitchers. I'm never going to have as many as I want. So yeah, 13 is probably okay unless you have some kind of catastrophe. I do think it's worth revisiting, Matt, the strategy of these agents to just go ahead and put yourself out in the portal. Remind me, I think I'm correct on this. Once you put yourself in the portal, there ain't any guarantee that the school will take you back.
Correct.
They are under no obligation to honor any of your scholarship, or your spot on the roster anymore. So you can't go out and, tell your girlfriend, sit right here in case I find somebody that's prettier than you. And then, I couldn't, so I'm back. The hell with you. So look, if you're Carius Kern, that's fine. You've made some starts here out of position. You're still a young player. I think you got a ton of upside. I still think the guy's going to be an all-conference interior offensive lineman before he's done. But if you're not, this is sort of a risky thing. You tell the SEC school, hey, I'm going to go shopping, and you end up in the Sun Belt.
I don't think Kern will end up in the Sun Belt.
Not him. No, not him. Not him. Not him.
But I agree. But just to clarify, but I do think there are those possibilities. But the other thing that's happened, Hanny, in a lot of the conversations that I've had with, and to be very transparent, I have not spoken to Lane Kiffin or Billy Glasscock personally, but what they have done in the last 2.5 weeks is they have had a lot of meetings with a lot of people that are program adjacent that are going to be helping them through NIL and through third-party NIL, and then also a lot of staff members. And they started the Monday after Lane was hired going through the roster retention interviews. And what's happened is I think you're seeing the product of overspending a year ago. LSU was so cash rich, they had money to dump into their roster, they did. And so there's a lot of guys on the roster in 2025 that as Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock looked at their roster and said, okay, what do we think this player, this position is worth? They deem them to be overpaid in 25. So that, okay, if you want to come back in 26, it's going to be at a lesser number, or you're welcome to leave. So I think that's what you're seeing a lot of right now is guys who are given the option to return at a lesser number. And if not, okay, they'll just go find your replacement in the portal because that's their approach. It's just a different, I keep saying it this way to my audience. We just have to reframe how we think about roster building because what the new staff is doing is it really, it's a 180 from what Brian Kelly and his staff were doing.
You rooting for Georgia or Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl?
Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy because I've been asked that a number of times. I'm rooting for Georgia. I want LSU's coaches coaching in LSU's building as soon as possible.
The friggin' portal opens the day after the game. It actually opens. It's midnight Eastern, so it's actually 11 p.m. Central on Jan 1. So by the time that game's over, I want Charlie Weiss on the phone making calls.
Look at this guy going time zone on me. I wasn't even that specific.
He had thought about this, Hanny. He had thought about this.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't nuts because I said it like, is that even a question? Yeah. Okay. All right. Last thing for you. Have you decided if you want your cigar or you want to go double or nothing on Lenora Sellers in the first round of next year's draft?
I want my cigar. I'm willing. No. I'm willing to do a separate bet because I don't want to wait. I don't need to wait 2 years to get a cigar. Sellers ain't gonna go first round next year.
I offered you the.
He can't hit water if he falls out of a boat. I've been telling you this for a year.
Neither could Anthony Richardson, and he went in the top five.
I get it. And Anthony Richardson also had a 1 year sample size, and he's the cautionary tale.
Hey, listen, I didn't tell you it was the best pick. I'm just telling you I think it will be a pick. So I will get you your cigar. We will have another bet for next year.
Yeah,
actually I'm up against it this year, next year, because it's a much deeper quarterback class than this year's class is. So the edge is going to go to you, but I'll get you a cigar. How's that?
He stinks. He stinks. Rex back.
We'll see.
Oh, Lord.
All right, Happy New Year, Scone. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. See ya.
We will take a break here. We are at Rouse's. Let them take care of you here at New Year's for, what do you get for New Year's, Musso? You get cabbage, you get black-eyed peas. Black-eyed peas and cabbage. Free green cabbage when you purchase a 5-pound bag of Rouse's red or gold potatoes, bone-in pork sirloin roast, just $1.27 a pound. Save $1 a pound on Camellia black-eyed peas. And Happy New Year from Rouse's. Market prices are good through New Year's Day. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues from Rouse's here, corner of Burbank and Lee. Our the Bears countdown to kickoff a little over 3 hours, about 3 hours and 7 minutes from right now. Scott Rabelais is at the Texas Bowl. Rab, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well, guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes.
All that.
And hope that you are have enjoyed a good holiday season as well. You know, Scott, the I guess the sentiment is that these bowl games don't mean anything. But you wrote a column today about what they do mean. We understand there's no championships being decided tonight. We understand that, you know, there's not going to be a ton of decisions made just on tonight's game. But there is a lot on the line for some people here, and everybody's got a little something on the line tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, a lot of players opt out or decide they can't play or shouldn't play in this game. That happens with all these bowl games. But there's a lot of players who are here. There are a lot more players who are playing than did 4 years ago for LSU in this bowl game. And you know, there's some guys who it's gonna be their last time playing football ever. And there's some guys who are doing it because they still have pride in the white jersey and the gold helmet and that sort of thing. And same thing on the Houston side. You know, it's going to be some of their last times too. So bowls aren't what they once were. That's for sure. But I watched a little piece of at least every bowl game so far this year, and I've seen players just giving their all. And it really means something to them. And when they win, they're thrilled when they win, and bitterly dejected when they lose. And I suspect we'll have some of that tonight in the Texas Bowl. It's again not the college football playoff. I think we all understand that, but it's still a chance to play. It's still a chance to play for your school, and it's a rare chance to play college football, and it's a chance that may not come around again for some people.
I've actually seen it turn a little bit in a positive direction for these bowls, Scott, because prior to this, prior to the market as we know it, I'm going to call it the market, you opted out of the bowl game. You just didn't play. You put yourself in the transfer portal. You just didn't play. Now what I'm seeing is a lot of players put themselves in the transfer portal and still play in these games, and it's one more opportunity for them to impress somebody. We used to talk about these bowl games as an opportunity for the outgoing seniors or upperclassmen to impress the draft guys one more time. Now it seems like you put yourself in the transfer portal, let me go out there and put one more good tape out, and it may make me some money right now. So there has been a little bit of a turn in the other direction.
That's right. You have a player like Arius Kern who's in the portal. He's going to play in this game. That's just one example. Maybe Lane Kiffin can convince him to stay. That's a possibility too, right? Maybe they can say, look, we saw how you played. I don't know. Maybe it's a possibility. Maybe Lane will say, Arius, we saw how you played in Houston, and you did this or that, and during the season, and here's what we'd like to offer you to stay. Or more likely, it's going to be some other school. There's a lot of that going on, and as much as I don't find that really appealing, that kind of transactional nature that is going to college in the college sports and the college football, it has changed. Yes, from what it was a couple of years ago. I think it's definitely a result or an outcome of things that was not foreseen, and it certainly made it even more interesting, I guess you could say.
Well, we're going to tackle this topic with you on the Daily Show between now and then, but this is our last Game Day show of the year. So let me ask you what you think is going to happen in January when they have to come up with a playoff format moving forward, number of teams, what it might look like for those teams, and what that means for bowls like the Texas Bowl.
That's a really good question. I think the playoff format is likely. I think they're going to figure out a way to expand it. I mean, there's pressure to expand. They go to 14 or 16 teams. I think we're going to see only some kind of proviso where there's only one group of 5 champion. I don't think we're going to have a situation like we did this year with James Madison and Tulane in the playoff again. They can't exclude them completely because they're going to get sued. The big schools and conferences are going to get sued. So that's not going to happen. But they're going to. That's probably going to be something that happens. And but I think the lesser bowls are going to the games like this are going to continue to endure, at least for the time being. I haven't heard of any bowl. Maybe you have. I haven't heard of any bowl game that's saying they might fold. ESPN owns a lot of these games. For example, they televise the vast majority of them. There's a game like today that. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, so the CW, and there's one on Fox, and there's one on CBS, but most of them are on ESPN or ABC. So, as long as it's crazy people out there who are just starved for football and know that they're, in between the playoff games, they're not going to see college football pretty soon for 8 months. I think they're going to endure.
I think they've got everything except the Sun Bowl. The Sun Bowl goes back with CBS for eternity or longer, and I think the Fox has got the Holiday Bowl, and I think ESPN, ABC's got pretty much everything else from here on out. I think they go to 16. I think it's I still favor the 5 and 11 format, 5 conference champions in one. Keep you say they're going to get sued after, here's Exhibit A, Your Honor. This is James Madison in Oregon. Okay, here's Exhibit B, Tulane and Ole Miss. We're going to rule in favor of the power schools here because this is not working for us. But I do think these bowls survive because I don't want to say nobody's losing money on them, but there's more people making money on these deals than not. ESPN doesn't buy all these things if there's not a means to an end. They would have quit doing it by now. There's an influx, and you can speak to this because you've been to so many in so many different cities. There's an influx of capital and economic jolt. It may not be 80,000 people in the city, but you're going to get a little bit of a push. The sponsors continue to do it because there's some benefit to them. They're selling at least enough tickets. The schools may not make any money off these things because they get a cut of what the conference gets, and it's pretty much swallowed up. They get a payout, but it's pretty much swallowed up by the expenses. But they don't really lose money either. The bowls that were losing money, they quickly disband or they move, like the Bahamas Bowl is moving now. So there are people making money off of these things. There's more positives about it. And hey, listen, what's the downside? The downside is if you don't want to watch Miami of Ohio and Fresno State, which is on right now, don't watch. But everybody else, so I think that the bowls survive, okay? And maybe some of them move up to kickoff classics and they move them to August or September. But I think the bowl system is a little bit healthier than maybe the perception is.
I think there's kind of an assumption with the new economic model, shall we say, in college football. With the NIL transfer portal and everything that was going to change completely. And it's like with new forms of media. None of them ever completely go away. Not as many people. There's not as many newspapers there are, but there are still a lot of newspapers around. Each new media gets layered on top of the old ones, and I think that's what we're seeing with college football. This old system, it's antiquated. Sure, is it quaint? I think so. Is it historic? Absolutely. It means something to somebody, and it's a reward for some of these players in Houston tonight. And they can win 10 games for just like the fifth or sixth time in the 2000s. Finish ranked. That's good for LSU. It's, like you said, it's more for the players, I think, than anybody else. For whether they're going to stay at LSU and try to play for Lane Kiffin, or whether they're going to go somewhere else, or of course go on to the NFL. So there's still value in this. And the game is it's messed up. There's a lot of things about it that are like, man, this needs to change and this needs to get fixed. But people are still watching, and it has not changed. The schools changing conferences and the playoffs versus the bowls and everything, and the players moving around like you're changing frequencies on radio. It's still immensely popular, and I think that's going to continue.
Scott, we appreciate the time. Have a safe trip back, and we'll talk to you next week on The Daily Show.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Our LeBear's countdown to kickoff, just now under 3 hours to go. Let the sports book at LeBear's be your game day headquarters. From Rouse's, this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Off the bench on Game Day. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana. Off the bench is heard weekday mornings at 7 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
I wanted to talk about
That's how calendars work.
how strange, I guess, the feel. And LSU isn't like unique in the situation. I think a lot of people are kind of going through this, but we might be unique in the situation of the coach that is coaching, the interim coach for the LSU Tigers, who has been the interim coach, of course, Frank Wilson. I think we all know and respect Frank Wilson and the passion that he has for LSU. But, of course, careers go on, right? When stuff happens, change happens. If you weren't invited back, maybe you were. I don't know. But careers go on. So Frank, of course, as we talked about a couple days ago, takes the job up there at Ole Miss.
Yep.
But he is still here. So currently Ole Miss has a bunch of current LSU coaches.
Yeah.
LSU has a bunch of current Ole Miss coaches.
Yeah.
And it's just a really strange situation. And I'm not in that building, so I don't know the vibe. I don't know the awkwardness level because let's be honest with you, this is a human situation. We've all been in a place of work where there's workplace stressors. There's relationship workplaces that are different. There's awkward when someone comes in, is interviewing for your job. That's a weird thing. And these humans, even though it's part of the job, it's part of the gig, it's part of being a coach at any level, it's a temporary deal. Always. It's not there's no coach that goes into a job thing as this is for life. Now you can hope as a head coach, you can hope. As an assistant coach, you're going to be there for a little while, then have to take something else, right? But there's a lot of people out there that probably are up in the air on what they're going to do. They don't really know. Strength coaches, assistant coaches that are currently, let's take like the offensive staff. Let's take Brad Davis. Let's take Hank Dent. Let's take all these guys that have been coaching all year. Now they have people that are replacing them.
Right.
Are they working out of the same office they've been working out of all year? Or are they on a crawfish table in the break room? Like, I don't know. Like, my curiosity is like, what is happening over there? How do you operate in a workplace? And it's all kind of awkward. And we've talked about the Ole Miss swapping with LSU and like the hirings between these two schools of each other's coaches or former coaches. And it's just all a little bit incestual. But it's just kind of just weird, right? That the coach that's going to be leading the Tigers for this team, and we say leading, he's going to be the titled head coach with the real head coach probably in his office watching it. I don't know. Is Lane going to be at the game? Is he going to be on the sidelines? Is he going to give him a pep talk? Like, what is that whole situation going to be like? But the current guy that's going to be the head coach and in charge of timeouts and game management and clock management and personnel changes and shifts is, also just signed a contract with Ole Miss to be a coach. I think it's just all a bit strange. So I just kind of wanted to go around the room and get everybody's feeling on how it, because I'm sure it kind of reflects what our listeners are thinking and all LSU fans, because we all have different opinions on this. I would just feel awkward as a coach there right now. Like, who's in charge of what? Do I have the power as an offensive coach for this bowl game to, like, install this? Do I need to run it by Lane? Do I need to call Charlie, who's in Ole Miss? Do I need to run it by him? Like, what's the power structure in this whole situation? Because there's a game to play. There's going to be a motivated Houston team playing in their home city that wants to knock your block off.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
So we got to get a team ready. And all these kids are trying to put good tape on the field as well, because everybody needs good tape, whether you're going to stay here, whether you're going to go somewhere else, whether there's paychecks involved nowadays, there's NFL film involved, and these kids want to finish it out strong, right?
Yep.
But how does that whole power struggle from the coach? It's just intriguing to me looking in, and I hope it all works out. But, like, I think we would all understand that it's probably a lot of real awkward conversations and trips to the restroom and trips to the water fountain over there at the coach's office.
Yeah, it has to be an awkward situation, and you're right. I mean, the guy that is leading the charge is now a football coach for Ole Miss, where obviously you just got their head coach from. Your offensive staff is in Oxford, Mississippi, getting them ready for a college football playoff game. Your old general manager, who was their old general manager, is now back there. You've lost other personnel staff to Ole Miss. It is messy. It is very messy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and then you start to hear, it's like, whoa, man, what are those Ole Miss staff members doing, every day over there? Are they trying to get players from Ole Miss to come to Baton Rouge? And then you hear, well, man, what's Frank Wilson going to do? Is he going to try to get players to go to Oxford, Mississippi with him? And, yeah, sure, like, you have some of this in some places where a guy is coaching a team, even though he's already taken another job. The thing that makes this unique is the fact that you're in the same conference. You play each other every single year. You haven't liked each other for a long time, and you're just like swapping. Every day it's like, oh, this guy from Ole Miss went to Baton Rouge. This guy from Baton Rouge went to Ole Miss. It's like every single day it feels like you're just swapping staffs.
Right.
And like a new location.
Like, take this situation into a normal workplace. Like, if let's pick something. Let's pick up, you work for an insurance company or whatever. Well, you get a new boss in town, and the boss is bringing his guy, and this boss is coming from Mississippi.
Yeah,
he ran a branch, not quite as big as yours, not as successful as yours, but he's getting an upgrade, and he's bringing his whole team in. But he's asking you to work your tail out for the next 30 days.
Yeah,
while this other staff members are just sitting there looking at you, like, yeah, I'd probably do a little bit different than that. But go ahead, you're in charge right now.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do that? You want to do that with the line? Yeah, you're in charge right now. I shouldn't have said anything. Do your thing. You'll be out of here pretty soon. And then I'm also intrigued, like, does the current staff, what is incentivizing them to stay? I guess, like, are they getting paid through? Are they donating their time because they love the kids? Like, I want to know how all that contractual stuff is working as well.
Right.
Because have they been actually fired? Have they had conversations with Lane? It's just it's all wild, man. I hope we hear once this transition has been clean, like it's clean and we're past the bowl game. The staff is here in town. Ole Miss is, done with the playoffs and everybody's here and we're focused. I hope some of those details come out about how it kind of was.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. Like, anytime you fire a coach, like, it is awkward. I mean, I remember when the last staff was let go and Brian Kelly was coming in, and you go over there and you're in the hallways and people are just kind of wandering around because they don't really know. They don't really know what the future holds.
Well, they know they're gone.
Most of the time, but not all the time.
Right.
And like this one, like the last time it happened, when they let Coach Moffitt go, the new strength staff actually got the team ready for that Texas Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know that strength staff at all, and they came in and they had to get you ready for a bowl game, and that was the only part of the new regime that was going to be there. So that had some awkwardness to it. Like, I don't even know. I don't know right now.
Is it
what the situation is now? Like, I don't know if Savage is taking over. I don't know if Jake's still. I have no idea. Right, but you see this all the time, and the fact that, like, there's a coach, And now the thing that was a little bit different, Brian Kelly wasn't here as much. Like Lane's here. Like we see it on social media. Like he is at the stadium. He's in the facility. Like he's doing things. So I would like to see that dynamic of like the coaches that probably aren't going to be here. The offensive staff, obviously, like you've already hired those replacements. They're just in Oxford, which is, again, another layer to this.
And that's the thing, too. It's like these offensive coaches that know they're not going to be here, right?
Yeah.
They know that there's a coach around the corner that's like waiting to get into your office. That's what I'm saying. Like if they had to clean their offices out, are they working out from temporary space? Like,
well, the defensive staff is still in the same offices.
Well,
like
the defensive
that's
staff
also
is different because they've already
right.
But
that has to be awkward too, because like you were with those people,
right?
And like you got to stay. You were very much desired.
Yep. But just think about this: if you are that offensive staff, if you are Frank, if you are like, how many extra hours can you expect them to put in?
Zero,
right? Like maybe it's like their love for the kids is one thing, and I don't want to put that on them because they might be working harder now than they ever have. But look at it from your own perspective. If you were doing a job,
they got to find out what's
that
next
you
for
had
them
already
too.
been fired from, but they asked you to keep working for a month,
right?
Just in any normal job, like how would you react to that? You know what I mean? How would you go about your business?
Right.
And again, I'm not speaking for them because they might be working harder than ever. I'm just saying, just put yourself in a situation in any type of job. Just a weird situation.
Well, they got to figure out what's next for them too. Like if they've been told,
their
hey,
agents are making calls
right,
for
you're not
sure.
coming back, obviously, and it's like,
and
okay,
that's all that was Cortez saying he interviewed with Ohio State. Yeah,
because Brian Hartline, who coaches the receivers, is now the head coach of South Florida. It's a great question because, like, I wonder how much Lane is talking with Blake, because that's what the defense is going to look like. Like the defense is going to have the same guys for the. I mean, the only one we don't know right now is defensive tackles. Everything else, like we know it's put into place. And so, like, if you're Lane Kiffin, that's your defensive coordinator, and maybe you're watching practice from outside your window. Like, hey, Blake, love that blitz. Write that down. Circle it, like. But the offense, like, you have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Just another added layer to it.
Someone brings up a good question in the Before chat here. Like, what do you think the lunchroom looks like? What if they all had to be, like, forced into, like, a grade school lunch cafeteria? You got the one group in the one table.
Yeah.
Lane, I don't know, is he by himself?
Probably not.
I don't know. That'd be cool.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith.
If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day, presented by Super Chevy and Yingling. Opposing media.
Tigers got their draw. They'll head over to Houston to take on the Houston Cougars at NRG, a game that we're actually going to see to open the 2027 season. But the head man of the Cougs, former Tulane head coach Willie Fritz, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Coach, it's our pleasure. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's our pleasure. Let me ask just an easy one right over the plate as we start. Your reaction when you got the word that LSU would be the matchup for you guys in the bowl game?
Oh, I think it's exciting to play a great program like LSU. I got some friends that are on the staff over there, and they're always so good to me when I was at Tulane. Used to hold joint camps, stick with them a lot. And so, yeah, it'll be fun to see some of those guys, in, a bowl setting prior to the game. Play quality opponent like those guys.
There's also some synergies as well. I think a lot of people remember your offensive coordinator, Slade Nagel, who was on staff at LSU, who was at Tulane and is now with you there. How's that transition gone with Slade as your OC this year?
Great. Slade's done a fantastic job. We struggled mightily our first year here offensively, and Slade's done a really good job organizing the staff and the players and figuring out pretty quick early in the season what we were good at, maybe what we weren't quite so good at, and he's really put a good offense together. So he's done a great job.
Well, you've also got a quarterback that people here are very familiar with, and Connor Wegman, who was at Texas A&M, of course, played against the Tigers a year ago at Kyle Field. I'm so curious, Coach, how, while you're at Houston, how aware Connor Wegman goes into the portal and you get him there. How aware are you of him during the season, or is that legwork done after the season to go sort of in that scouting department to look at who you may want to bring in, a guy like Connor?
Well, you wait until they get in the portal. That's what you're supposed to do,
sure.
Right? I think a lot of people do that. I had a little bit of a, inside track. I actually coached Connor's dad in college when I was at Sam Houston State many years. And then Sean Bell, our quarterback coach, really offered Connor's first Power 4 scholarship when he was at Baylor. And they had a real good relationship. Plus, he wanted to stay in Houston. He's a Houston kid. He wanted to stay here in the city. So it got worked out pretty quick.
What's been your impressions having him there and how he's assimilated? I mean, look, you're 9-3, and as you mentioned, a really nice improvement offensively this year for the Cougs. What have been your impressions of Connor having him this year?
Well, he's healthy. He got beat up pretty good A&M his last season. He was a little bit beat up when he first got to us, but we kind of worked through that January, February, March, and then he did a great job in spring ball. Totally healthy now, and he's a dual threat quarterback. He probably runs better than most people think he's going to run. Got good speed, and he's able to hit it north-south and get vertical. He's not one of those guys who's running east and west, not gaining anything. He's a very accurate passer. And, football is a complicated game. I'm always I enjoy sitting in there listening and watching him, and his understanding of football and concepts, and what we're doing schematically. He just he's kind of a football junkie. He's just gotten better and better as the season progressed.
2,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, a nice season for your signal caller. I wanted to ask about one of the interesting things just about, Coach, this day and age in college football is in games like this, you're going to run across guys that maybe played at the school you were, whatever the case may be. You got a couple of former LSU guys in Christian Braithwaite and Jordan Allen on your team. I'm sure there's a lot of fans here who remember those guys in the purple and gold. Let's love an update on how it's gone with those two on your roster.
Oh, they've done a great job. They came in and jumped right into it. Jordan starts for us, safety, had a really nice season for us. Christian's kind of battled some injuries this year, but he's healthy, and he'll be out in the field playing in some kicking games on the 27th when we play LSU.
Willie Fritz is with us, head coach of the Houston Cougars, getting ready for the Texas Bowl in Houston coming up on the 27th. As you mentioned, Coach, there's always this debate as well just about the value of a bowl game and playing. And Frank Wilson, I know said it was never really a consideration not to play. Of course they were going to play. Where do you fall on that right now, on the value of this for your program?
Well, I think it's real valuable for us. We're very excited about it. We had a tough year, my first year here at Houston, and I think everybody's goal is to play in a bowl game, and then after that it's CFP and, national championship, all those kind of things. But this is a big reward for us, turning it around this season and going 9-3 and coming close in a couple other games and in a tough conference, like the Big 12 or everybody's pretty good. It's one of those leagues where, every week you got to be ready to play. And in some other leagues where you might have to, bring your C game on, you still are able to win. But in this same thing in the SEC, you got to be ready to play every single week. And so, we're very, very pumped up and excited about this opportunity.
You'll have Frank Wilson on the opposite sideline. I would imagine Coach Frank is one of the ones that you know well from the times collaborating at LSU. Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Frank and maybe a thought on the job he's done?
No, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to visit with him, but I know Frank. Got a lot of respect for him. Kevin Peoples coached for me at a few places. The outside edge defensive end coach there. Coached for me. I think I gave his first job at Glenn Junior College many, many years ago. And he coached for me at a place called Central Missouri, and then Georgia Southern, and Tulane, and Alex Atkins also coached for me at Georgia Southern and Tulane. So then Jack Whitty was a graduate assistant for me. He's also, I think, an analyst, an assistant over there at LSU. So, I know quite a few of the guys.
Pretty wild, huh? Oh, those are some deep-rooted synergies. I guess you coach for a long time. You're going to cross paths with a whole bunch of guys. That's pretty incredible. Coach, just a couple more if I could before you go. I'd love to know. You had a great run at Tulane, and people here obviously who love to watch a Tulane. They pull for you there. I'd love the thought just on watching Tulane make this run to the CFP this year.
Well, I'm really proud of them. It's a great deal for the university. I still have a lot of really close friends on the staff there. Excited for Will Hall. Will was one of my assistants at Tulane, and I think he's going to do a great job taking Coach Summerall's place. So it's just neat to see, and we got the backing of the city. When we were there. I'll tell you one of the neat things is when we played in that Cotton Bowl. I got more emails from LSU people about how they were playing somebody and they're getting after them pretty good. I can't remember who it was. At the same time we were playing, and everybody kind of turned over to our game. And, had a lot of support from them as well. So it's neat to see the success that Tulane's had. And, I'll be rooting for them.
Yeah, we'll see if the Tigers and the Wave can tangle sometime on the field in the coming future, if that thing can be rekindled. They haven't played since 2009, so maybe at some point we'll see LSU and Tulane on the field again. But on the 27th window, we'll see the Tigers and the Cougs, something that we'll see as the season opener in Houston in 2027, but matter at hand coming up here in a few weeks. Willie Fritz. Coach, we appreciate you taking a few minutes away from your schedule to visit with us. Best of luck on the 27th and moving forward. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. Go Cougs.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Epic Paving College Football Scoreboard. Epic Paving, Louisiana's preferred paving vendor.
Our abbreviated college football scoreboard in progress inside the 2-minute warning now. Number 12 BYU leads number 22 Georgia Tech 25-21, a touchdown right on top of the 2-minute timeout for BYU to take the lead. Georgia Tech has got under 2 minutes now to do something about that. Fresno State leads Miami of Ohio 9-3. That's in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter there. Number 25 North Texas leads San Diego State 28-13 in the New Mexico Bowl. And from earlier today, Army beat UConn 41-16 in the Fenway Bowl. Cadets outscored UConn 27-6 in the second half. Penn State beat Clemson 22-10 in the Pinstripe Bowl. Ethan Grunkmeyer, who 262 yards, 2 touchdowns for Penn State. Got to learn that name. He's going to be the starter next year. East Carolina beat Pitt. It was for the back half of this year. East Carolina beat Pitt 23-17. Panthers turned the ball over 5 times in that game. And one score from the NFL. Texans lead the Chargers 17-10. They are inside of 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. We'll take a break. Hear from our friend Richard Dixon when we come back here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose. Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
.1 Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the V. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill.
Let's bring in Richard Dixon, who would ordinarily be joining me on postgame, but there's network postgame only tonight, so we will not be doing a show starting at 1:30-ish in the morning. Rich, how you doing, man? Hope you had a Merry Christmas.
Oh, man, it was awesome. I'm just a little bit depressed about not getting started to do a post-game show at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I understand that. Also, I think you would agree with me that when it's 4th and 15, deep in your own territory, you should have a safety playing over the top. But that's a whole different thing. All right, give me a couple things that you would like to see. Look, a lot of players and coaches that are going to be there tonight are not going to be there the next time that LSU plays. Give me a couple things you'd like to see tonight for LSU against Houston.
You know, for me, it's just go out there and have fun, play loose, play free. Starting to really look at these games as like preseason game. You're going to put some good film on tape. Get ready. You know, you don't know who's looking for you next year, where you're going to be next year. So go out there and play free, play hard, fly around, and just have fun. I mean, there's no pressure in these games.
The idea that Houston has more of their players available than LSU does. If these teams would be playing at full strength, how would you feel about the matchup?
Man, you never know what the offense we dealt with this year. I feel like any other game. You know, our defense is going to keep us in the game. Can we score enough points to win it? But you know, that's how I felt the last half of the season.
And that's a scary thing because a lot of the defense isn't there tonight, at least, in linebackers in the secondary. So we'll see how they do. All right, buddy, take the rest of the night off. Have a very happy New Year. And we'll catch up with you when we start the podcast back here at the beginning of the year. We'll be talking transfer portal.
That'll work, man. Y'all have fun.
All right, Richard Dixon, former LSU Tiger tight end. We'll take a break here. Our LeBears countdown to kickoff, 2 hours and about 20 minutes. When we return, we'll go back to Houston. Check in with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. That's next, Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Inside the stadium. Presented by Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Financing all things country.
And we head back to Houston and check in with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, who I think is at field level right now. Chris, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday, and excited to get back to little LSU football tonight on a late one.
It is, and to you as well and your family over the holidays. So kind of set the stage for us. If you're inside the stadium, you've been there for a little bit now. Kind of give us an idea of what's going on.
You know, it's a great. I will say this about the Kinder's Texas Bowl. Their welcome to the team, if you've never been, is really top notch. I mean, the team buses drop off, and then both fan bases create a tunnel that the teams walk through. So walk in with the team, couple of players in front of us, and you know, you can kind of feel their juices start to flow a little bit. So we literally just went by the locker room. Guys are going to get in there, get changed, get out on the field, do some pregame stretching, but. There was a lot of hopping and skipping and high-fiving, so it's a nice interest and a nice welcome to the Texas Bowl.
You know, Chris, we've seen some of these bowl games, and I think the play has been, really hard. I think you've gotten a lot of effort, but we've seen some pretty empty stadiums, too. This is a big alumni base for LSU, and for Houston, it's a home game, so we're expecting a pretty good crowd tonight, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Gordy and I just talking on the bus, we made our way from the team hotel downtown, which NRG Stadium's a little bit out on the interstate, police escort, and literally, Charlie, we pulled into the stadium parking lot, and it was shut down. I mean, they weren't even moving for the cops, so we were kind of surprised at the traffic that was in the parking lots as the fans are making their way here, and as we walked in through the tunnel, I'd say it was at least, I mean, that's not everybody that's here, obviously, but the tunnel of people looked to be pretty close, 50-50. It had red and white on one side, purple and gold on the other.
Chris, what's this transition been like? And I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Lane Kiffin very much or if at all, or Frank Wilson, I know you've spent a lot of time with. This transition is awkward, okay? The calendar dictates that it happens this way, but I think we'd all like if this happened a little bit in a different manner. But how would you describe the transition of the coaching staffs and everybody trying to get ready to do what they still have to do at their old job while trying to get ready for the new job?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it again the last couple of days. In fact, also had that conversation coming over just moments ago. The one thing I would say about it, Charlie, and again, just being a little bit around the football building over the last several weeks, Gordy took in a couple of practices this week. It's been a professional approach. That is, and again, that's not company line. That's just my observation. It is tricky. Guys do have current jobs to fulfill, as well as future jobs that I'm sure they cannot wait to get to. And the same can be said for the crew that is making their way new to Baton Rouge. But it has been professional, but it is
it just naturally creates a little awkwardness. You got a group of people who's working on a specific game on December 27th. You got another group, obviously, that is looking to start plans and implementing some major changes, whatever they may be, come December 28th. So, I think everybody has handled it well. It was great to see Frank mention yesterday that he and Lane, Coach Kiffin, had no issue, just did not work out. Both guys, I think, are satisfied and will be happy where they move on to. But you can't help but be a little awkward when you kind of have two separate groups inside the same building over the last several weeks.
Now, let me ask you about the coach on the other sideline, because he's somebody you know very well. Willie Fritz spent 2 years at Georgia Southern. You were at Georgia Southern for a long time. In fact, the two of you left Georgia Southern in the same year after the 2015 season. So you have worked in the same program with him. What always stood out to you about Willie Fritz coach teams?
He is very honest and very blunt. He is a throwback to an old school coach, and those get far and few between as the years go by. But he's a guy that can get into his team. He's a guy that will, again, not only force you to run through a wall because he gets you motivated, he'll run through a wall for his team. He's fiercely loyal to the guys that are going to be in his Houston uniforms tonight. And, of course, coming up, a great career, been everywhere. Started at Pittsburgh State, grew up in Kansas. His brother was a very successful high school basketball coach. Of course, made his name at Sam Houston State before then taking the job at Georgia Southern. And then in his brief time there, led the transition from FCS to FBS, took them to their first bowl game, got their first bowl victory for a pretty storied program at the FCS level. And, of course, at that time, he was running the shotgun option. And basically, Charlie, what I've gotten to know him over the years, we had lunch in New Orleans when he was at Tulane a number of times, is that when he was at those levels, at the D2, NAIA, and then eventually FCS, it was basically, here's my offense, and you're going to adjust to it. He's kind of made that change since coming to Tulane and now at Houston, where he's not so stuck in a particular offense. He will build the team around the talent he has. And that's why we've seen him kind of go away from the traditional shotgun option, triple option attack. Make no mistake, there are plenty of option elements still around in Coach Willie Fritz's offense. And this is a game that I think means a lot to them. They had high expectations coming into the year, got off to a great start. In fact, I think they're the only team in the FBS that did not lose a road game. They're 6-0 on the road this year. So even though we're in the same hometown, I guess technically it's not a home game. So I expect Houston to come out and really want to win this game. And I think when you look at these two teams, who's playing, who's not playing, who's in, who's out, it's going to come down to who has the more will, who wants to win this game. And I think without question, Houston wants to be able to get to their 10th win on the year.
All right, in about 15 minutes, we will hand it over to you guys on the network. What do Hunt and the gang have in store?
They have really going to try to break down. I'm going to spend some more time talking to Hunt earlier. He said he's going to spend a little more time learning about this Houston team. Just simply because they are out of the Big 12. It's just the fourth time LSU and Houston have played, and it's been a long, long time. So they'll do that. And then we're hoping once we take over here at NRG Stadium, we're told we may get a special guest in the booth during the second quarter. So
can't imagine who that would be.
You guys can take you can guys do a little bet on who that is. But so looking forward to it. Just hoping to have a good night. I think when you come to these games, obviously it's a letdown not being in the college football playoff. That'll be on the table for next year, hopefully. But you make the most of it. You hope to have an exciting game. You hope to have some great moments, and let's see if we can do it tonight.
Well, we're going to let you guys haul the water after the game as well. Gordy said that's past my bedtime, so I'm not allowed to do post-game tonight. So it's just hunting the guys tonight. So have a good broadcast. You guys have a great call and a safe trip back, Chris. And thanks for all you do for us and all your contributions all year. And let's see if LSU can close this one out with a win.
Man, I appreciate you letting me join you guys each and every week. I know fans certainly appreciate what you all do every week. So enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy an early night of rest, and we'll do it again next year.
Thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate it. I am not setting my alarm for 3 a.m., by the way.
No.
To say, okay, post-game.
Why would you? Why would you?
We'll come back with our keys to the V. That's next here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana Propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues here at Rouse's Bears. Countdown to kickoff, about 2 hours and 7 minutes. Musso, your keys to the V tonight for LSU.
You got to stop Houston's run game. That's what they want to do. They want to run the ball, and they want to spin the clock. I mean, look, LSU, I do think Houston's going to be able to run the ball a little bit more than maybe normal against an LSU defense this year that's been stout against the rush attack. That's just because, I mean, you are missing some playmakers, especially at the linebacker position and run fits and things of that nature. But if you can stop them from running, look, we kind of know what Connor Wegman is, and he's just not a great passer of the football. So if you can force him to throw, I think you have plenty enough in your secondary, man, to continue to clamp down receivers like you've done all year. And LSU's been actually great at taking away the football in the secondary this year too. That's it for me, and hope that you can get enough offensively, man. That's been we talked about with Richard. That's been the thing all year with that group.
I'm going to go with turnovers, and you could say that for any game, and I get it. But here's what I'm going to reiterate that we opened the program with. Houston's season through 8 games was about as good as they could do. The only game that they lost was to Texas Tech, who is really, really good. Yeah. They only turned the ball over 4 times in those 8 games. Connor Wegman only threw 2 interceptions. They fumbled twice. They were 7-1. They were 2-2 in the last 4 games, including a loss to a pretty bad West Virginia team, a squeaker at UCF. They lost to TCU, and then they beat Baylor. 4 turnovers in the first 8 games, 10 turnovers in the last 4 games. Wegman, 2 interceptions in the first 8 games, 7 interceptions in the last 4 games. I know LSU's 2 main ball hawks are not in the game tonight, in Halsey and Delane, but if LSU wins the turnover battle, they win the football game, which is sort of cliche, but the numbers kind of back it up that was Houston's kind of ride or die here this season. So those are our keys to the V. We'll be back to wrap it up here at Rouse's, corner of Burbank and Lee. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day wrapping up here at Rouse's. We want to thank Rouse's for being our host all season long. For New Year's, black eyed peas and cabbage. You get a free green cabbage when you purchase a 5-pound bag of Rouse's red or gold potatoes. Bone-in pork sirloin, just $1.27 a pound, and save $1.02 a pound on all Camellia black eyed peas. I want to say also thank you to the hardest working member of our staff, which is not me or Musso, but Cassie Spazzali, who does more work than either one of us every week, setting up everything, doing all of the work that you don't see, but behind the scenes, we couldn't do it without her. Thank you very much. And to all our producers back at the flagship for doing their jobs, our contributors all season, the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, Richard Dixon, Shay Dixon, Jimmy Ide, Gordy Rush, Matt Moscona, OTB, Matt Flynn, and Jacob Hester, and, you know, all of the guys that have helped us throughout the season to make this show. We really appreciate it. Again, no network postgame only following the end of the Texas Bowl, so we certainly hope you enjoy the game tonight as the Tigers wrap up the 2025 season. For Matt Musso, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good evening from Rouse's at the corner of Burbank and Lee. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
The following is an exclusive presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network. It's football time in Louisiana.
Tonight, your Fighting Tigers look to finish the 2025 season with a win over the Houston Cougars in the 2025